Welcome to Getting Out of Graduate School Intact. My name is Maiken, and I'm your friendly graduate school tour guide. In this episode titled, Congratulations, you've been accepted into graduate school. Now what? We will talk about some tips for pre-gaming for grad school. You've received your letter of acceptance. Now what? Go out to dinner with your friends and celebrate. Take a few days and bask in that achievement. It is a huge accomplishment. This episode focuses on a few of my pre-gaming recommendations, such as pointers on looking for scholarships, learning the rules and expectations, and when you should start preparing for your semester. National Signing Day. Believe it or not, there is an equivalent of National Signing Day for graduate students called the April 15th Resolution. What is the April 15th Resolution? If you are a student enrolling in a fall term and have been provided with funding as part of your admission package, you have until April 15th to accept the university's offer and agree to attend that school. When you receive your acceptance letter and are offered funding, the university typically will attach a copy of the April 15th resolution. This copy outlines the expectations and what you need to do to accept the offer, decline the offer, and what to do if you change your mind. The Council of Graduate Schools, CGS, has a page dedicated to the April 15th resolution in their resources section on their website. If you have an offer that requires you to sign by the April 15th deadline, I recommend you look through the FAQ section of that page before you sign. Which leads me to the mythical creature that there is a theory that you should never pay full price for your PhD. However, not everyone is that lucky, and graduate school is not cheap. Most programs or universities provide little, if anything, by the way of financial aid for graduate students. Many graduate students find they need to rely on student loans in order to attend. However, like Nessie, Bigfoot, and possibly aliens, the photo evidence might be blurry, and the secondhand accounts of encounters might be unbelievable, but graduate funding does exist. There is money out there for graduate students. Some of the funds are tied to specific demographics, a particular school, a particular program, social, gender, or racial demographic, but there is money to be had. Let's talk about some of the places you can look for funding opportunities, starting with scholarships. There are scholarships for graduate education, but they are few and for not much. A good place to start is with your school's scholarship coordinator. Often these lovely people know where the money is buried. Those weird scholarships provided by the school that no one knows about. Additionally, they can provide you with other resources and avenues to explore for available funds. Another good place to search for scholarship opportunities is the university's foundation or advancement office. Some alumni and other donors provide money for or create scholarships open to graduate students. Often they are program specific, like special education or nursing, while others may be student demographic specific, like for veteran or first gen students. Pay attention to the scholarships and others you will have to reapply for every year, but apply. Apply to all of the ones you are qualified for. When you are a graduate student, no amount is too small and every little bit can help. Next, let's talk about GAs, GTAs, and GRAs. Remember, I said we love our acronyms? Most programs and universities offer graduate student assistant positions, which come with a small monthly stipend and sometimes even a full tuition waiver or a tuition reduction. These positions are coveted and few. Here, the early bird definitely catches the worm. Even if your school does not offer a reduction of tuition, depending on your major, this may still be an opportunity to consider, as it can provide you with a fantastic experience, opportunities, insight into the dynamics of your program. I will explain later why this is important. It would also help you make great connections. Typically, those positions are broken down into three groups: graduate assistant, or a GA, graduate teaching assistant, or a GTA, and a graduate research assistant, a GRA. Let's talk about the differences. Graduate assistants. These positions tend to not have teaching or research components to them. Often GAs are attached to an office such as the graduate college or student support centers like residence or campus life. Depending on where this position is housed, there may be some level of research involved. Typically, this is policy related research. The GA position at some universities is the entry point for the graduate teaching assistant, providing some classroom exposure and mentorship before they are moved into a professor of record or similar teaching role. Finally, depending on the university and if they have a graduate assistantship tier system, this group is often in the lower tier in terms of pay. Next, let's talk about graduate teaching assistants, or GTAs. These positions are what their name indicates. They tend to be the professor of record, often for freshman and sophomore level courses, unless you haven't earned a master's, and then it may involve teaching a junior level course. They also tend to assist in a professor's class or a tutoring center of some type. Again, if the university has a tier system, this group tends to be one of the higher tiers, and I often recommend master's students looking to pursue a PhD to apply for teaching positions so they are more competitive when it comes time to apply for doctoral graduate funding. The next group is the Graduate Research Assistant, or GRAs. This group tends to be the students hired to work in research labs, and they tend to be STEM or health based. Again, if the university has a tier system, this group tends to be one of the higher tiers, if not the highest, depending on the school. It is also one of the most competitive to get, as this group is the group of students selected by the faculty member they will be working with. Often these positions are attached to a grant, ongoing research, and or a new research project being run by the hiring faculty member. Where and how can you find these positions? This depends on the university. Often the of GTA, GRA positions in their acceptance letters, while their GA positions are listed on their website or on a student hiring board like Handshake. Some programs and universities do a call for graduate assistantships on job boards or announcement boards specific to that field, while others have you hunt for them by reaching out to faculty, the graduate school, or your would-be department. In other words, it's like an Easter egg hunt, but all the eggs are green or camo colored. If you're a veteran, many schools offer veteran-based scholarships, or at the very least provide you with in-state tuition rates. Reach out to and work with the school certifying official to see what is provided to you by the school. Next, let's talk about tuition reimbursement. If you are one of those people who must work and go to school, know that I see you and I give you mad props. It is not easy. I did it with my last master's, and I always felt as if I was one step away from a straitjacket. That said, check with your employer as they may offer tuition reimbursement. Also, many universities allow employees and sometimes their dependents to attend a certain number of hours. Some cap you at how many hours you can take a year, while others cap you at a total amount like 60 hours. Usually those hours are free or greatly reduced. Some of these schools also have if you or your parent or your spouse works in higher education, check to see if they offer this assistance. Now, finally, keep in mind that most of these funding opportunities are stackable. You can combine many scholarships with other scholarships as well as graduate assistantships. Now that we've covered the fund stuff, get it? Fund. I'm going to provide you with a few additional pregame tips. Read the damn catalog. I cannot encourage or stress this enough. Read the damn graduate catalog. I cannot tell you how many times I've had a student in my office in tears because they did something against the rules and realized they could potentially have to start over, redoing all of their research, all of their writing of their culminating project that took them years to do. The catalog provides you with almost every tool you need to successfully navigate the next 2 to 10 years of your life. Okay, I know it's really long and boring, and you're probably hoping I will tell you you don't have to read the entire thing. And while I wish that you would, my answer based on reality, my own actions, and my professional experience, students don't. And while I would love for you to read it cover to cover, I know you won't. So let's focus on the parts that you need to read. You need to read the section dedicated to your program, the degree plan, the requirements of your comps, the admission to candidacy if you're a PhD student, the section on committee selection requirements, prospectus rules, and the institutional review board requirements. Next, you need to read the rules regarding external committee members, the academic calendar, pay special attention to the course timeout policy, the rules regarding grades, and finally, and arguably the most important, graduation requirements. So 75% of the catalog. When in doubt, check the catalog. Have a question? Check the catalog. Find yourself in a difficult situation? You're right. Check the catalog. I promise knowing what's expected of you, your committee, your program, and the university will help you every single time. What's more, not knowing you could find yourself in a situation you cannot get out of. My next tip for you is to get your books as soon as you know. In graduate school, depending on your major, you will be expected to read on average an article or two and a half a book a week. When you factor in that most graduate students take on average 2 classes a semester, this means that you will potentially be reading a book a week along with 2 to 4 articles. Getting your books as soon as they are available will allow you to get a better grasp of the material as your brain is not overloaded yet. And while you are at it, get the style manual for your major. Familiarize yourself with it. I cannot tell you how many times I was working with a student in their dissertation or thesis stage who had no idea how to cite properly or what level headings were. Next, get the syllabus as soon as it's available. Many schools post the syllabus for classes a few weeks before the class starts. As soon as it is posted, read it. What are the professor's expectations? How many papers are you expected to write? When are these papers due? What links are these papers expected to be? A field trip, shadowing, a test, a lab report. Get a calendar and mark in different colors the dates each paper is due for each class you're enrolled in. Do you have several papers due within a day or two of each other? Looking at your calendar, be honest with yourself. Can you manage your course load without your brain exploding and oozing out of your ears? Yes? Great. Go for it. If your answer is no, You should look at dropping a course or changing one before the semester starts. The same goes for a course you know you will find challenging. If at all possible, take it by itself. But if that's not an option, take it with a course you feel confident you would do well in. Remember, in graduate school, D does not equal diploma. Depending on your program, best case scenario means you're on probation. Most likely, it means thanks for playing, you didn't make the team this year. With that said, most graduate programs do not even allow you to earn a C. I remember my first semester in graduate school, successfully take 3 courses after just completing an intense summer semester 2 weeks before. A semester where I took 5 classes and my grandfather passed away. I was sitting in my 3rd class and we were reviewing the syllabus, the professor's expectations of all of us, and I remember thinking, what the actual duck was I thinking? There was no way in hell I was going to be able to take 3 classes. Just reading the syllabus for that 3rd class made me want to pull my eyes out. The next day, I was in the professor's office with the drop slip. Moral of the story, be honest about your limitations. Set yourself up to succeed and not to fail. Thank you for listening. We have now made it through another episode successfully intact. Next time, we will talk about how and